called Stella Ajore Ekatan. I work as the project officer for First Aid, Blood Donor Recruitment, and Epidemic Preparedness and Response at Uganda Red Cross Society. Ideally, here in Hoima branch, we have a First Aid Youth Camp that we are running. This First Aid Youth Camp has been there for 3 days. We started it on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we finish tomorrow. The purpose of this First Aid Youth Camp is to bring the youth within Hoima branch, and that is particularly Hoima district, Hoima city, and Kikuube. The schools they are targeted are secondary schools where we are empowering them and training them with first aid knowledge and skills. This camp has been hosted by Kikuube Senior Secondary School, and we want to thank the management for accepting to host this camp. The first aid camp has had 11 schools in total from the different districts that I've mentioned, and this camp is basically empowering the different students that we have here with first aid knowledge and skills. The essence is that as Red Cross, we are training them to be able to offer first aid in the different activities and events they have at school. At times they have sports events, they have drama events, they have public events, they have district sports events, among others. So as Red Cross, we have a niche and team of trained volunteers. These are first aid volunteers who train the young people in first aid, and we've empowered them and skilled them, and we are hopeful that from this camp they'll be able to go and offer first aid in their different links in their schools. Ideally, in this camp we are also having competitions. After the 2 days of training, today we are going to have competitions where we will take them through practical competitions, the practical sessions, including the quiz. And from these competitions, we are going to award the best winning teams with some token of appreciation of first aid kits to be used in their different schools. Besides the kits, we also have basic first aid books and first aid for young people that we are going to give the different schools that are going to be winning in this event. So ideally, this project and all these activities have been funded by Belgian Red Cross Flanders. The project is a 2-year project, and come November next year, we will be phasing out the project. But even when it phases out, we have a sustainability component that we have put through the branch, where we have the branch managers, the volunteers trained in first aid. That beyond the project period, we'll have first aid continuing with different school links and in the communities that we work with.
What could be your worry as to the young people, the links you've got in these schools, and maybe how could we handle the worry as management of schools?
The worry, and maybe I couldn't say worry, one of the issues that have been raised as we're doing this is the young people expect to have kits to be used in the different events. Ideally, when we're training them, they were talking of bandages, gauze, but we clearly told them first aid is more practical. We use appropriate resources within their schools, within their communities, because as an organization and as a project, we may not be able to replenish the first aid kits every other time. So we want them to have that linkage with the different health facilities that they have within them, with the school administration, to put first aid as a core thing in the school so that they have the appropriate materials and resources to use as and when they have first events in the school, and the student links are able to offer first aid.
Okay, thank you. Remind us of your name.
Stella Ajore, project officer.
Okay. Maybe basically we look at Kikuube district at large. How was the turn-up?
The turn-up was good. Actually, the turn-up was good, and we've got very good reception of Kikuube district ever since we started the humanitarian protection project way back in 2021. The host school is Kikuube district. As I speak, as we have the competitions and as we are closing out, we have the DEO, Kikuube, represented here, who's going to do the closing. And the number of schools in Kikuube are equally many. We have Chiziramfumbi, we have Changwali SS, which is in the refugee settlement. We have Cobras, we have Kaboya, among others. So in terms of coverage from Kikuube, the turn-up is good, including Everest High School.
In a nutshell, one of the recommendations you would give to the person watching you now as to first aid?
First aid is a key skill that passes across all ages. First aid is something that we should embrace as a society, even in families and in all the schools that we have around. It would be good for us to have first aid. Actually, the theme for first aid this year on the World First Aid Day is first aid in the digital era, because we want to believe it cuts across ages, all ages, and everyone should have these basic skills. You may be involved in an accident at any time, and first aid would save a life, because if you have the skill, you'll be able to salvage the situation before someone reaches hospital. The major incidents that the minor and major incidents that happen in school can be salvaged if the links are trained in first aid.
Okay, thank you.